Israel is at war. Israel is a critical juncture in their history. President Herzog said it's the darkest hour of the Jewish people since the Holocaust. And it's the time where the Church of Jesus Christ needs to prove itself with the Jewish people, with our brethren in Israel, and to pray and to support them in every possible way. Now, these past days, I heard people calling me from around the world, oh, we love Israel, and we stand with Israel. And they are uttering prayers, and they say, Lord, bless Israel, but also bless Hamas. Bless Israel, but let's bless also the people of Gaza. And I fully understand there are many, many people in Gaza that need to hear the good news of Jesus. There are many people in Gaza that the Lord's hand is upon them to save them and to redeem them and to put them in the kingdom of God. But make no mistake, this is not a battle of equal parties that are fighting against each other. But on the one side in Gaza, you find one of the most vicious terrorist organizations in history. Their brutality was visible the last few days. I saw it with my own eyes by visiting just a few days after the incursion Gaza communities, and I saw the bloodshed they caused, not among soldiers, but among civilians, among children, among women, among old people. It is one of the most wicked spirits that is active in our time today, that wants to annihilate the Jewish people at all. Israel, on the other side, it's a defensive force. They never attacked innocent civilians. Yes, of course, there were collateral damage, like in every army, but they never targeted in particular civilians. It's a complete different army from a democratic state in the Middle East. And also, most importantly, the Bible calls them, they are the apple of God's eye. They are God's people, and the church is called to stand with them. It's rather interesting, on this first week of the conflict, the Torah reading all across Israel was coming from the book of Genesis. Genesis chapter 1, the account of the creation. And it repeatedly uses the very same Hebrew word, badal, that is translated here in the ESV Bible as to separate. In chapter 3, verse 1, it says, and God separated the light and the darkness. In verse 6, it says, verse 6, let there be an expanse to separate the waters from the waters. Verse 14, let there be expanse in heaven to separate day and night. And again in verse 18, to rule over the day, over the night, and to separate the light from the darkness. And God saw it was good. So this separation from life and darkness, it is something that the Bible calls forth repeatedly. The priests are called in the temple to separate, to distinguish, again the same word, badal, between holy and unholy. The prophet Isaiah in chapter 5 verse 8, cursed is the people who call good evil and evil good. We are living in a time where the borders between good and evil, between righteousness and unrighteousness, are washed out more and more in our societies. And we see this also manifesting in this conflict in Israel. I want to tell you, this is the time where the church needs to take a clear stand at the side of Israel. If you stand with Israel, you need to be against Hamas. If you stand with Israel, you need to pray for a complete and a clear victory over this terrorist organization. I am from Germany. 80 years ago in my country, Nazi Germany was the most wicked regime on planet Earth. We were led by a wicked person called Adolf Hitler. I never forget what my father repeatedly told me. He says, we have to thank God for the American army who brought forth a decisive victory over Nazi Germany. We owe them our victory. And yes, in the midst of this decisive battles, God called out his people. My father was one of them. He got saved as he was fighting in Russia in a Russian prison camp. Another friend of me from Russia was saved as he was fighting on the Russian side. And many other people found Jesus during these critical times. But the world needed to deal with this wicked system of Nazism in Germany. And therefore I plead with you, take a clear stand. Make sure everybody knows on whose side you are standing. These are days of decisions. These are days where the church needs to know that you make a difference between day and light, that you make a difference between light and darkness. So please take a clear stand with Israel in those days. And I know as you do that, God will bless you for it. Greetings here from Jerusalem.